We're making the Crisis Boys as D&D characters. Rules of engagement, 5e Dungeons & Dragons with no homebrew exceptions may apply, using a stat spread of 16, 15, 14, 12, 10, 8, and the custom background rules in the PHP. I know 5.5 is out. Production on this started in April, and I am not going through and changing everything now. Levels, and therefore power, are not standardized at all, so if your favorite ends up level 1 with their main stat at -1, the Ethereum video was over 2 years ago at this point. I really appreciate you sticking around that long. Last and most not least of all, this is a fucking bit about anime internet muppets. None of this is to insult the talents. They're all super funny and, well, talented, and liking them is probably why you're even here. So if you think about using this to insult any of the talents, you should instead go outside, touch some grass, and never fucking come back. But with the term set, let's start off with Vanta Crowbriscoe. Wait, no, shit, hold on. Vanta Crowbringer. Sorry, honest mistake. I trust you understand though, since as far as D&D is concerned, these two are super similar, both being strength-based punchy boys. This time at least he's actually going to be mostly a monk, instead of a fighter with a gimmick. He's still getting fighter levels, don't get me wrong, and even some other multi-classing too, but this time it's modifying a monk core instead of the other way around. Take a walk with me, will you? Start with 3 fighter levels. Vanta's technically getting the second, but this flows better. To get the champion subclass. On the way, picking up second wind, action surge, and the fighting style unarmed fighter, since monk's not going to be a high enough level to get D8 punches in this build. The subclass gives us improved critical, so a 10% chance for any attack to crit instead of 5%. Nice. Now, he is going to be a high enough level monk to get extra attack. Plus martial arts, that's 3 hits per turn, totaling a 27% chance to crit. You see where this is going. So come the 2 levels of Barbarian he's actually starting with needed to get Reckless Attack for at-will advantage on attacks. It makes him pretty likely to get hit, sure, but fun fact, you only need to dodge attacks if you're weak enough for the attacks to hurt. And that is not a problem for Vanta, with Barbarian's Rage giving resistance to bullets, blades, snipers, trains. It generally makes getting hit a non-issue. To save some time, we'll skip a few of the more niche attack turns like Reckless on the turn you Rage, or Reckless with just Flurry of Blows, and only cover the biggest possible punch. 2 attacks base, plus 2 bonus action attacks from Flurry of Blows, plus 2 extra attacks from Action Surge, all at advantage from Reckless. Vanta ends up rolling 12 d20 in 1 turn, giving him over 70% chance to crit whatever poor fuck he decided to smash to death. Or he could just bury up to 6 chaff minions. It's a very flexible kind of ass beating. And since it's, I think, the most dangerous punching people in the head can get, I believe even the big man himself would approve. Even with his propensity to, how you say, make shit up? Anyway, we've covered the 3 fighter levels and the 2 barbarian levels. What's his monk level? And while I don't believe for one goddamn second that his lore video is accurate, I don't actually have a solid reason to not make him that strong aside from, fucking look at it. So to split the difference, he's getting an even 10 monk levels for 15 levels total. Technically, if you want him to be even unstoppabler than he is already, you need Diamond Soul for buff as shit saves. But that would also give him functionally infinite languages, and since he speaks exactly one of them, he can cope. Level 10 monk already gives him plenty of funny shit. Running up walls, reduced fall damage, throw stupid deck save bullshit, people who just fucking end charm effects, one of Barbarian's biggest weaknesses. Oh, and immunity to poison and disease, because why not? Dude's just built different. Unfortunately, no monk subclass fits great. Hell, no subclass even fits good. But Open Hand at least fits the theme, though it relies on the save DC, which is based on wisdom, which is... like, he's level 15, so it's fine. Totally serviceable, just really disappointing for the level. Oh, he also gets Stunning Strike, which also suffers from his impressively unimpressive wisdom. I know technically he needs wisdom to multi-class monks to starting barbarian, but please consider that the multi-classing rules can suck this arachnid's friendly neighborhood spider dick. Strength is getting maxed out with an ASI, with con falling with a second +2, putting it to 18. Last physical stat is Dex with only 14, but again, college is for people who can be killed. Charisma is leading the mental stats at 12, then at 10 is Wisdom. Yeah, fucking gotcha. With how he talks about attack, which is to say with absolute and frankly absurd disinterest bordering on disgust, Int had like the bottom spot. Don't get too excited, Monk DC is still only 13. Class and stats covered, let's go back to... Human to grab that free feat. And well, yeah, Tough might fit better for Vanta by himself. Are you really going to play Vanta Crowbringer without the boy? The man? The Borb himself? Maybe. And in that case, yeah, take Tough. But I'm giving all the lads their lads, so we need Magic Initiate to grab Find Familiar from Wizard. +2 cantrips that are going to be Blade Ward, since it makes sense as a shitty diet, no resources added rage, and True Strike, to really dig that Grave Relieving the cantrips in as deep as we can get it. For Vanta's background, while there isn't an official vigilante option, the Watcher's Eye feature from City Watch does everything you could want for a Batman knockoff, letting you find police stations and criminal dens for basically free since backgrounds are fucking allergic to making you roll for shit. Finally, for his skills, Athletics and Perception from class. Perception because he can allegedly hear for an insane distance, and barbarians don't get the much more obvious acrobatics, which he's instead getting from race. Followed by Stealth and Deception from background. Stealth is from the calling card mentioned in his announcement that is just barely not complete and utter bullshit enough for me to give it to him. And Deception because even with how he presented his lore, I think you idiots bought that shit! What the hell? That's dumb as shit! Expected it from you, sure, but still. Oh, and for background tools, games and land vehicles. He might be able to drive, so sure, why not? You come up with something better. Next up is Vezalius Bandage, medical professional and wielder of the brain cell for the Krisis team. That healthcare angle might make you think cleric, like I did at first, but given that his healing comes from at least science-adjacent study, so intelligence-based, and he has a strong focus on potions, I went with Alchemist Artificer instead. It honestly fits him so well it's almost boring. Alchemist gives a super cure after a bunch of training and studying to the guy whose lore is 90% training and studying to create a super cure. To be more specific, at level 15, Alchemist gives a free Greater Restoration, which Vez needs since Remove Curse and Lesser Restoration are way too fucking low level for their effects, so I've elected to ignore them, since it'd make his desperate struggle to save his sister a 3rd, maybe 5th level journey. Also, yes, this is the real reason Vanta got level 15. They match now. Aside from the once free Greater Res, Alchemist also gives some free Restoration and a free Heal cast. A spell so strong, it gets to just be called Heal. A spell so strong, Artificers don't even get spell slots high enough to cast it. Plus a flat bonus to healing and some damaging spells, plus some potions that have a whole bunch of different effects on top of some temp health. Man's got that good shit. Base Artificer gives a bunch of pretty cool features too. Creating tools, boosting checks and saves, spell storing items, music box, but the few we really care about are expertise and tool use to help make the aforementioned good shit, extra attunement slots, and the ability to create magic items. Not being better at making magic items using the regular systems, although Artificers get that too. I mean getting to all but conjure magic items out of thin air. It is impossible to overstate how important this is, especially for these videos, since I don't give these characters magic items. I can't guarantee you get them, and it feels weird to tie builds just to that, you understand. So this is the only way for a build to get magic items. And oh boy, are we going to put them to fan-fucking-tastic use. But first, we need to cover stats. It'll make sense in a second, don't worry. First up, 1 ASI is going into Intelligence for 20. Shocker. Dude's lore completely falls apart if he's not good at medical science. Even if D&D insists medicine is a wisdom skill, I know that's just so clerics can get it, and I'm not falling for it. Then followed up with Charisma. Dude's got the combo of genuine sweet talk and genuine français, then Constitution from the fruits of his self-inflicted experiments, Wisdom despite, injecting himself with super guaranteed death curse. Dude was desperate, we can't fully count that against him, and to his credit, it did fucking work, so maybe even 12 is too low. Finally, Strength at 10 and Dex in last, which feels really low for a doctor, but something has to be the worst, and honestly, he could easily have +1 or better in everything. But those aren't the rules anyone else gets, so the only way he's getting those kind of numbers is if he, fucking implants stat-boosting magic items. Hey, remember that fan-fucking-tastic use I promised to make of those Artificer magic items? Oh yeah. Go for this spread if you aren't starting at least level 14, that's why I showed him. But if you are, you have access to the Amulet of Health to get 19 Constitution, and either the Belt of Hill Giant Strength or Gauntlets of Ogre Power for 21 and 19 Strength respectively. 21 felt excessive, so I avoided it. Strict downgrade, but it still means that if we set Strength and Con to base 10 and 8, Vez functionally has a stat spread of 20, 19, 19, 16, 14, 12, and Intelligence, Strength, Con, Wiz, and Dex, which is absurd, and I couldn't be happier with it. Okay, we've already used up 2 of the 5 magic items. Technically, he'll know how to make others, but since he's injecting half of them, let's assume they're all permanent. 1 is going to Homunculus Servant, so he won't need Magic Initiate to get Suchi, and it's just better. 4th is an Alchemy Jug. It makes stuff out of nothing, which is the closest we can get to the Gem of Creation. Not sure that mayonnaise was what he needed for the cure, but boy, is that what he's getting. And finally, you should go for either Mind Sharpener, since free concentration saves are super good, or Goggles of Night, since the scars over his eyes could be from giving himself dark vision. But we will at least take a second to stare wistfully out the window at the bag of holding, since this is the first, and maybe last time a Nijisanji member will have the chance to grab one. We're also skipping the Parapet of Wound Closure, since dude has a maybe 1% chance to fail death saves, and a nearly 50% chance to get a 20 and pop back up at 1, assuming he only makes 3 death saves with the reborn deathless nature. Oh, why'd the music break? Did the side music? Oh, right. I haven't covered race yet. You're probably asking why the hell he's getting the zombie option when he's definitively, canonically a human and not, in fact, a zombie. The answer is simply that Reborn isn't a zombie option. Oh, sure, WotC says it's the zombie option. You don't need to breathe or eat or sleep, but those can all just be products of experiments. Same with advantage on death saves. And its only other features are 2 skills, like human gets, but better. And the ability to get a bonus d6 on skill checks, like some kind of self-induced bardic inspiration, which is frankly perfect for an actual professional like Vez. And even without the free feat from human, Vezalius is high enough level to get 3 ASIs, one of which is already going to intelligence, but since Suchi is covered by Homunculus Servant, we don't need Magic Initiate, and can instead go for Healer, obviously, and Magic Initiate. Hey, wait up! Yes, we're actually still in need of some spells outside the Artificer list. Specifically, Sleep. Since in Used Lore video, we see him get dropped by Vez with what could only really be a reflavored Sleep. Or, one of the many poisons that could do that, but Artificers don't get something like that base, so it's not something Vez is getting. And Sleep is funnier anyway. The cantrips are good too, letting Vez get Sapping Sting, a great utility spell that actually works with his bonus damage, turning it into a serious combat option. Oof, that took a bit, my bad. Who would have thought doing stats twice for a fake out would take a second? At least background is easy. His lore is doing research and finding rare information. Hey look, a feature called Research lets you know where to access rare information. Then give him 2 extra languages instead of any tool because he gets enough tools from Artificer. I even had to bend the rules already to count guitars as an artisan tool, since I'm just not convinced this guy's got glass blowing experience, Anyway, for skills, he's getting Medicine and Arcana from class, since he's a medic, and I refuse to believe Medicine covers those magic demon crystals. And between background and race, he's getting Persuasion, Performance, and Deception. Odd mana because he had to get something, and Deception works for a French spy TF2 joke I couldn't get fucking right. And no, he's not getting Stealth instead of him sneaking up on Wilson. In fact, he's specifically not getting Stealth to really hammer home how not special sneaking up on you is. You know what? Let's talk about you. Not you. You get it. And yeah, we're skipping spells. Artificer's one of the class that can swap their spells, which is fucking baffling to me, but hey, makes my job easier. They're on the sheet in the description if you really want them. Anyway, let's start you off easy before throwing him directly into a wood chipper. In his debut, he was listed as Cool Human, but since that's an oxymoron, he'll have to self a Variant Human instead. And since he needs a familiar for his AI companion, he's also getting Magic Initiate Wizard. I guess it's complimentary when you work for Ash. Slight issue already. Pentapod is an octopus, which, unlike birds and alchemical crimes against nature, don't normally get a fly speed. To fix this, I've decided to ignore it. Ask your DM for a flying octopus yourself, but it's not worth the hassle to fix here. Sorry, buddy. We can cover skills later, but I actually want to cover background now, since it'll make figuring out his class easier. He's going to be getting the Criminal Contact feature, since his lore video kicks off with him being contacted by a criminal to do crime. But we're gonna call the background itself Mercenary, or Merc, or Hitman, or some other flavor of dude you pay to do violence at people, since that's what he is. Even if his track record is, fucking atrocious. And what a wonderful segue that is, since UQ Wilson is a hitman that's not stealthy, that can't fight, that's canonically shit at his job, a man whose success rate is the same as getting a nat 20, the auto success no matter how pathetic the attacker is roll. Mr. Willie is getting level 1 and should be thanking the higher power of his choice. He's getting that much. And while his mercenary history and general in-your-face approach to what I'm sure he thinks are covert assassinations make fighters seem like the best fit, A, that'd be super unimaginably fuck-ass boring, and B, I mean, he wanted to be a hitman instead of a classic merc. That's his lore. He switched because he thought it was cooler. He's a hitman now. And if fighter is the default pick for mercenary, which it is, then rogue must be the default pick for hitman, right? I know rogues don't get the blanket weapon proficiency that you apparently has, But Nijisanji said that shit, and they also said there's no job he can't do with a 5% success rate, so I call bullshit. The biggest problem for you being a rogue is that he kind of just runs at people with a sword. It's why him being a rogue is so funny. And honestly, I was so tempted to make him level 3 to grab Swashbuckler, since then he'd just need to be in a 1v1 to get sneak attack. In the end, I actually went back to Vezalius knocking him out for the tiebreaker. Since Vez can only get level 1 sleep, and to use mental stats have dibs on the bottom 3, if Wilson is level 3, it actually becomes pretty unlikely he gets dropped, even without con. And, well, it doesn't actually matter anyway. See, there's one thing I've neglected to really highlight. Part of Wilson fighting like a, well, fighter is his weapon. If you look real carefully, you can see that it's not really a rapier. Too big for a short sword.
Quite big.
Definitely not a dagger.
That's kind of small.
U.Q. Wilson, a man specifically called out as being a hitman, aka rogue, is using a motherfucking longsword. For those of you that don't know why that's so fucking funny, most of Rogue's damage comes from sneak attack, their main feature, which only works on certain weapons. A list that does not include longswords. And for those of you that did know that, you're probably wondering how I thought I could give him a longsword at all, since obviously rogues can't use them. Except for some reason they can! It's the only weapon rogues get that doesn't work with sneak attack, that's not just from blanket simple weapon proficiency. God, when I saw that, ooh, this is definitely one of the goofiest things I've found in a while. You know what? Fuck it. If Yu's already getting so unimaginably fucked by his own bad choices, I can at least give him back his rollerblades. He wants to be fast. It's part of why he's a rogue. So congratulations, Wilson. You are actually getting cutting action and level 2 along with it. You really earned it, buddy. Enjoy. It does you so little good. Since this man is in some desperate need of help, let's circle back to the 2 cantrips he's getting from Magic Initiate, since one of them is really helpful. Booming Blade. It lets Wilson hit a guy, cutting action out, and if they chase, they take what at this level would actually be slightly more than sneak attack damage. As for the second cantrip, you know I gotta give him True Strike. I love giving these people True Strike, especially Wilson, since it's basically the wizard's super bootleg rogue option. And funny enough, in the context of giving a rogue advantage, one who's rarely going to be in a situation where they can get sneak attack from other ways, this might actually be the one time True Strike isn't... oh wait, I just remembered Wilson isn't actually getting sneak attack. My bad. Sorry everyone. The bad spell is staying bad, fire is still hot, breaking news all around. Anyway, let's finally cover Wilson's stats. Quickly, since I've already talked about them a fair bit. As I said before, mental stats get bottom spots, 8 wisdom, 10 intelligence, 12 charisma. Could maybe go higher on charisma if his deception wasn't... Well, just fucking look at it. Come on, it's not even the same color. That leaves 14 for Constitution, 16 for Dex, and Strength highest at 18, because remember, this rogue is, somehow, using Strength for attacks. Now all it's left to do is wrap up boy's proficiencies and head home. For tools, he's getting a language and game set, Mark of the Beast, and for skills, he's so bad I genuinely don't know what to give him. I'm serious, although a large part of that is rogue human getting an unethical amount of skills. Okay, look. From class, he's getting athletics, acrobatics, performance, and stealth. With the first 2 getting expertise, and those last 2 getting in because they're competition shit like insight or perception. And for his miscellaneous skills, 2 from background and 1 from race, we make 1 sleight of hand, and just like that, we are out of skills that aren't intelligence-based, wisdom-based, or persuasion-deception. Which, no. Well, aside from intimidation, which also sucks, but I guess he's getting that now, and, animal handling. For being the first person to breed a blue axolotl. Take it or leave it. You can also just leave in general. The video's out. If you want to check out the character sheets in more detail, they're in the description, and I'm sorry for taking so long on this video. It was meant to come out literal months ago, but I got distracted with other projects. And I didn't have time to go back and double check everything, so if anything in this video is outdated, oops, my bad. I don't even know if Wilson deserves all the shit I gave him anymore. For all I know, he's being a badass. Either way, I'm sorry for dunking you so hard, Chief. You probably didn't deserve that. Regardless, if you liked the video, do all the YouTube things on your way out, and if you want more from me, I stream pretty regularly and have recently started a Patreon where you can get literal hours of extra content, weekly updates, and your name at the end of videos and streams to have video proof of your small channel bragging rights. Till next time, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and fuck off.